Suneera Madhani. Suneera Madhani.
Without much further ado, I'd like to welcome Suneera.
Hi, I'm Suneera Madhani, a mom of two, daughter of an immigrant, and an unlikely entrepreneur who built a billion-dollar business. Yes, billion. Now I'm doing it again and building my second unicorn, Worth. Shockingly, less than 2% of female founders ever reach 1 million in revenue, and I'm on a mission to change that. At CEO School, we mentor thousands of women to help them level up in business and in life. We believe that you deserve to have it all because honestly, nothing bad happens when women make more money. Grab a seat because class is officially in session. Welcome to CEO School. Hi everyone, welcome back to the CEO School podcast. I'm your host, Suneera Madhani, and today I am in Hi Hello Lab studio. It's Monday. It's an amazing day. We are ready to give you such an incredible episode. I was sitting and thinking about, I'm back at doing a solo episode today. And as I was coming in, sitting down, and I'm like, okay, I've got these topics that y'all are all asking about. And last few episodes have been so special. It was so great to be able to take all of you behind the scenes of what's been happening on my personal journey, my health journey, my spirit journey. And business is personal, so these are the conversations that I want to be having with you every single week. And with that, it's also important to get back to business as well. And so with today's episode, I was like, what can I share with all of you? I have so many questions. All of you guys want to know about strategies that I'm using in the company today, strategies I'm using for sales, for marketing, for growth, for all the things. And as I'm gearing up right now, actually going into the fall, so it's the fall right now, we're gearing into this really special season of, I've just gotten the company launched in March, and we are gearing up for just a massive quarter ahead. And one of the things I want to share with you is something that I believe I do really well, which is marketing. But how can you actually leverage marketing for growth marketing? And I'm sitting here, coming from meetings earlier today on talking about our fall marketing strategies for Worth. And it's also really similar to how I run CEO School and all my other organizations. But things have been moving so quickly in the world of marketing, right? If we're not keeping up with, not from social trends, but just keeping up with marketing trends in general of what is relevant today, how customers are responding to our products or services, how can we reach them? What are the different channels that they're reading? Where are they going? And how they're consuming content and information so that we can reach our customers. Things have been moving at such a record pace that if we're not constantly educating ourselves on the marketing flywheel, on the marketing funnel, then we're already behind. And this is something that we've talked about every single year on the podcast. We've had so many different marketing experts, specialists as well. But what last year's information was might not even be relevant today. And so as a CEO, one of your primary jobs is to ensure that your marketing and your go-to market strategies are always relevant and that you're able to maximize your resources to reach your customers where they're at. And we have to constantly be reassessing, reevaluating. So with that, today's episode, I'm going to deep dive into the 5 marketing strategies that I'm going to be using this fall. Some of these are going to be, tried and true and things that I've been using for years and years that I will not give up. And there's going to be some new things that I'm doing in 2024 fall that I believe are relevant and that regardless of your marketing budget, whether you are a solopreneur, a single person team, or you've got lots of budget to go reach your customers, I believe that these strategies can really amplify all your sales efforts, your brand efforts. And at the end of the day, create more revenue and create more customers, right? That's what's most important. Revenue is what solves all problems, and marketing is a vehicle to that revenue. And so let's get to it. I'm super excited to share with you my top 5 tips of what I'll be doing this fall. So let's do it. Number 1, I'll get right into it, is event hacking. So one thing that we've always been good about is showing up, right? I've encouraged this constantly to all the women in our network, within CEO School, within our masterminds, within our programs, but even outside, even with you guys on the podcast, show up. It's so important to be in person, to cultivate those relationships, to get in the room because things do happen, deals are done in the rooms. And so getting to events has always been part of the strategy. But this fall, right, like spring and fall are two huge seasons of where almost every conference takes place, right? Everyone is showing up to industry conferences. We're showing up to, there's a lot happening. I don't know about you, but my schedule is packed this fall. I took a little season off of work travel because I knew what I'd be gearing up for in the fall would be every single week. I'm in New York, I'm in LA, I'm in Vegas, I'm in Nashville, I'm in Atlanta, I'm back in LA, I'm back in New York, and the list goes on. But there are a ton of events, and I'm not trying to spray and pray the event strategy. So everything that we're going to talk about here needs to be strategic. It needs to be strategic to your brand. It needs to be strategic to where your partnerships are at and where your customers are at, right? And so really taking a look at which events not only you are going to be attending, but even where your brand presence needs to be. And so with that, specifically for Worth, we've got some major industry shows that are coming up. I cannot wait to be at Money 2020 this fall, which is the big fintech conference of the year. And so we're going to be there for sure. And I'm going to be at several different events for entrepreneurship as well, which relates to our brand and my personal brand and all the things as well. So events are something that we're going to be at. But what I want to share with you is how I'm event hacking, right? And so I'll give you an example of Money 2020. So Money 2020 this fall, it's big, it's epic. We need to be there because that's where our vendors are. That's where talent is. I got to be recruiting. That's where our potential customers are. And that's really where our industry brand presence as a thought leader needs to be known that we're here, we're back, we're serious, right? And we're ready to take up space once again. And so everybody, let me remind you, Suneera and Sal are back in the house and we're building another fintech. That's a huge part of showing up. It's not just about showing up right. And it's a place where all of our industry relations will all be in one place. And so 3 days of our time in Vegas, which is super exhausting, I'll save that for another, it's literally going to be nonstop, but all the meetings that I can schedule, and I can get a lot of FaceTime in, right? Which will last me until the next 6 months, and the next industry event would be Transact in April of next year. So it's usually spring and fall are like two major conferences. And that's usually the case for every industry, whatever industry you're in. So if you are a beauty-based brand, there are going to be really key beauty-based, conferences that you should be attending. If you are a service-based company, what style of customers, where are your customers at, or even where your vendors and partners are at, where your competitors are at, right? So let's strategically think about where we need to be. And so Money 2020 is an example that I can share with you. We'll be there in the fall, but that conference will get me all the FaceTime that I need as a brand, as a thought leader. I'll get to meet with prospects and customers. And so that's a show that we want to maximize. I'm taking my team with me, and getting a booth for Money 2020 is ungodly expensive, right? So remind you again, I'm back at building, back with startup budget. So this is where it's going to get really fun, where I can share with you how I'm hijacking my budget, how I'm hijacking resources. So, a conference booth was like north of, a couple $100,000. Like, it was so expensive to be at this show. Now, that's not smart from a startup budget perspective for me to blow all my, budget on this one event, but I know I got to maximize it. And so I do know it's going to be a significant investment, and we are going to make a six-figure investment, north of a six-figure investment into the fall event. But instead of me just paying for the booth, right, and keeping that as a place where I'm, standing there to invite people to the booth, I'm curating an event around Money 2020. And this is what I'm talking about of event hacking, right? And so, we're going to show up, and we've rented out the sickest restaurant. We're going to have this amazing lunch and learn. We're putting together a key event during the time of the conference where everyone's going to be at. I know everybody needs to eat lunch. I know that every day that I'm at the conference, I have lunch meetings that are usually booked up. Well, I'm going to create my own lunch and learn, create fabulous programming. We've got amazing partners that are coming, and I can't announce who my speaker is, but I've gotten one of the greatest thought leaders in business, and I'm super, super excited for their presence and for me to have a fireside chat with them and to get their opinion on the market and all the fun things. But that person's brand presence is also going to drive my prospects to come to my event. And it's not just going to be a spray and pray for everyone to be able to just come and get an invite. I'm getting really exclusive about who we're inviting, who we're letting into the room, and we're just curating an amazing, amazing luncheon. And so I know that I can create an awesome event. It's still going to cost me north of 6 figures to put this together, but it's going to cost me, way less than half of what I would be paying just for the booth and the other things. And I get to drive 150 of my partners, prospects. I'm going to be recruiting really top talent that I want for them to come to my house instead of me going to their house at Money 2020. And so these are the ways that I think about making budgets go far. And you might be thinking, okay, Suneera, I don't have a 6-figure budget. How is this relevant to me? 100% it's relevant to you. I've been doing event hacking even when it was just me showing up with a ticket to the conference. Many times I didn't even have a ticket to the conference and I was putting something on during the event. Another example of that is South by Southwest. So South by Southwest is a huge entrepreneurial conference that takes place in Austin. And every time I've gone to South by Southwest, I've actually created or attended side events. Many times over the last several years, I haven't even been on to the main stage area of the conference, or I'm creating booths or things like that. I've always created strategies around events. Why? Because I know everyone's going to be there for me, my right prospects, my right partners, my right vendors, etc. So find the next set of industry events that you want to be at, right? And curate something epic around it, where then you can send out an invite to an exclusive. Remember, quality, not quantity, right? And I think that's where strategic marketing really takes place. So how can I be very curated, selective, exclusive, and create an awesome experience, even if that is just having a dinner, like an amazing dinner for 10 people. I do this everywhere I go. And that is a strategy that I want to share with you and how I'm applying that in the fall. I'll be heading to LA this fall a few times. I'm definitely going to I can't be everywhere. I've got 3 days in LA, but guess what? I can host an awesome dinner and invite everybody, right? And doing something like that it's part of also who I am as a person. I love getting together with people. I love sharing a glass of wine or breaking bread or just being face to face. And it allows me an opportunity to get to know people further outside of just that business element of it. So I love hosting. That's what I do in my real life every day. I've applied those philosophies into my business philosophy in our marketing strategy. And so that's definitely something that you can take away wherever you're traveling to, maximize that. And also it's, I think no one wants to be sold to, right? And so that's something that every time we do create any sort of event, anytime there is any sort of marketing strategy around it, of course, everything's ROI driven. My prospects are going to be there. I'm inviting them into the room. I'm pretty confident that this is going to carry the conversation, and then the sales conversation is going to move forward. But I'm not going in with that intention. I'm going in with that. I just want to connect. I want to get in front of as many people that are on my curated list for me to get in front of, and finding an opportunity to do so without having a sales ask. And usually when I create events around that have that lens where I just want to deliver immense value, I want people to have a great time. We didn't need to have like this ridiculously amazing keynote that is coming, but I wanted to go find somebody that I know everybody would get excited about. They would get so much value out of. I'm going to have so much fun. And so they're going to want to be in the room. They're going to want to hang out. They're going to receive so much value, and that will then translate naturally into business. So approach it with that lens, and there will be ROI. And of course, you can then strategically track that ROI, but go in with it with value add. So event hacking is my number one marketing strategy for the fall. It's always been there for me, but I've got lots of events that we're hacking. I hope you can apply that immediately in your business. Number 2 is partnerships. So this has been something that I've kind of been an ebb and flow of within seasons. And this time around on Building Worth, I want partnerships to be at the absolute forefront all the time. And so the first time around when I built Stacks, of course we had partners. I don't want to say that we weren't about partnerships, but we did a lot less brand collaborations. We did a lot less true, like the partnerships that were there were more technology partnerships. I want outward-facing brand partnerships. I want outward-facing co-creation of things with other brands. What this does, it amplifies my own brand as well. So partnerships is something that is definitely on the forefront. And I do believe that everything is so much better with collaboration. And so that's something that we've, done well with CEO school, but even can be doing better. Like this is something that's on the forefront on my mind all the time is how am I leveraging partnerships and collaborations. And I really encourage you to think about how you can do that within your industries as well. And sometimes, we almost view it, sometimes I have a hard time convincing, brand peers that collaborating together will add to the greater whole. Everyone brings a unique, skill set, perspective, product to the market. And so there can be ways to overlap, brands. There can be ways to overlap even within your segmented verticals for you to have true cross collaboration. It doesn't have to be such unique product sets for it to be like, well, here's my customer and here's my customer. You can still go after the same customer. And so I'm really excited about leveraging partnerships. And currently right now, I'm actually creating a division in the company that I'll be spearheading called partnerships, which we haven't had. We didn't have partnerships as a division until way later of an organization. And so I want to bring that up in the forefront. And I believe that the way to get, and we haven't launched the word score, which is going to be the small business component. But when we do, in order for us to reach that customer, instead of me going one-to-one with each customer, how can I do this with larger brands, and that who has access to all the customers that I want, and what can I drive to deliver tremendous partnership and value so that we can collaborate together to drive those customers to be our customers, and it's a one-to-many relationship and a win-win situation. So those are things that are going on in the back of my head right now that I wish I did differently the first time around. And I think that wherever you are in your journey as a business, I do think that it's such a great way to amplify your brand. It's such a great way to amplify your presence as a CEO. And we don't have to do it alone. So I just want to remind you, we don't have to do it alone. And it also doesn't have to be this massive brand. So we've got great partners and we are definitely partnering and leveraging those bigger brands. But sometimes we view it as like, it has to be this big thing for it to create this lift. You can find peers and, similar sized companies, or even if their companies are smaller, but they offer this unique thing and that their audience is going to learn about your product. Don't discount that. So I just want to share that. Don't discount collaborations, even if they're smaller collaborations. Just make it part of the DNA. And so it's been something that we've done in the past, but I think that I could be doing it better and I could be making it as part of our consistent path of growth. So that's one thing this fall I'm doing as a marketing strategy, in essence, as a growth strategy, to leverage other brands, to leverage other communities, to leverage, other products and people to partner with and collaborate with to drive value for them and for us. So partnerships is my number 2. Number 3, this is something that is not new and is still so important. And no matter how many times I want it to fall off, it still always comes back within the marketing strategy, is organic social. Can't shake it, can't let it go. I love it, I hate it, it's hard, it's work, it's all the things, but it is still super important. It's not something that's going away. And the more that we can focus on when I say social, I'm talking about our organic social, our organic growth on social. That is something that is not going away. And utilizing your organic social to drive content is also something that is not going away. And so in 2024, it's continued that we need to not only create content, we've got to be thought leaders, we've got to stay relevant, and we can't just hire out and have a social media manager that takes care of it. Yes, that is a part of the scale that's part of the scale process, and you don't have to be the one to have to do everything. However, as a CEO, it's still important that your voice is part of this brand. you are seeing things in a different lens than even your team is seeing things, it is important that you get your hands dirty in organic social. Just want to say it. I know you hate to hear it, but it's the truth. So even right now, this fall, even going into our fall, I'm still focused on ensuring that our social strategies are organically growing. And it doesn't have to be exponential. So these are tokens that you're going to invest in over time, and you don't have to be everywhere. So it's still important that you pick the lanes of where your customers are at, not where you're at. Just because you're on Instagram doesn't mean that's where your customers are at. Just because you're comfortable with, a certain, you're on Twitter or on X, that's not maybe where your customers are at. So doing the work is really important of understanding where your customers are and who your customer is. So doing the work, which is, your work on your ideal customer avatar, which I believe we've done episodes on this in the past. And if we haven't, I'll give you a quick 1-minute recap of, you got to know who your ideal customer is. You got to know their profile. There's a process that you can go through to, create your ideal customer profile, of their age, their demographic, what they're reading, what they like, what, where they're hanging out, and to really understand her or him and who that buyer is. That person is not you. So that person is actually the customers that are buying from you. So I would do a lookalike against your previous buyers who's actually pulled out the dollars, who's actually bought the product, who's actually ordered the good or service. Where can you go find more of them? And where are they hanging out? Where are they having conversations? That's where you have to be. And so it's not about where we're comfortable. It's about meeting our customers where they're at. And social is a huge part of that. Everyone is on social. My mother is on social. She's a customer of someone's somewhere, right? I am on social. I'm a customer of someone's somewhere, right? Our podcast manager, Carlos is here. He's a customer of someone's somewhere, right? And so even as business owners, as consumers, we're all customers as well of other companies and products. And we are all on social and we are buying from social, whether we believe it or not. So your organic social still needs to be at the top of the list. And I'm not talking about paid strategies. That is something that I would say is fallen off of my list for the fall. Paid strategies are out. I'm just going to say it. They're absolutely out. I am not in the business anymore of acquiring customers through a paid strategy. It used to be a different landscape. And yes, it might still work for certain industries, but I'm not in the business of buying my customers. I'm in the business of finding the right customers that want to buy from me. Right? And that are loyal to the brand, that are invested into the brand. And that customer might be harder to get to than to get to from a paid channel, but that customer is actually going to be a loyal customer. That customer is going to actually give me referrals. That customer is actually going to have a longer lifetime value than the paid customer that I just went and clicked and bought. And organic social is going to be a much more cost-effective strategy as well. It might not be as quick, but it's going to be the right one in the long haul. So 2024 fall marketing, paid is out. And I'm talking about paid from Google perspective. I'm talking about paid from social ads perspective. It's not where I'm personally investing in. So if you want to take me up on social against it, let's have a conversation. I'm happy to hear you out. I understand that it doesn't work for all brands, but I 100% believe in the importance of investing continually in your organic brands. They will pay dividends over time. You can always turn social paid on and off. That's what the paid engine should be. So I'm not saying that we don't have a paid engine. Absolutely. At Worth, we have a paid engine. It has to be there. We have to retarget our customers that are in their buying journey. I might not do it at the top of the funnel. I might be retargeting them once they're in the journey. So there is a place for paid. So I'm not saying that there isn't a place for it, but I'm not banking my sales strategy on a paid funnel. I need to invest in organic growth, and that includes organic social. And there are so many ways to hack the social strategy. And so number 4, which I'm going to do a 2-part, is how to hack that. And that's by leveraging AI to go faster. That is a huge part of 2024 marketing. Get with it. AI should not scare you. And if you are not utilizing tools that can help you go faster and grow faster, you are going to get left out of the game. And so if you're listening to this, wherever you are, you're watching this on YouTube, you're going on a walk, you are, listening to it during work, you need to ping somebody on your team, or you need to make a note for yourself to say, what tools are we leveraging for AI in our marketing strategy, in our business strategy? You've got to use them. And the tools that I'm using, there's so many different tools that we're using, but especially it's helping content go faster, right? I'm able to create content so much faster, leveraging content tools, right? Even as simple as, ChatGPT, which is now everyone understands how to use ChatGPT, but I've trained my models within ChatGPT for my voice in different ways. Every time I write the newsletter, I write my newsletter and then I upload it into a prompt that I already have running for the last, 12 weeks now of cleaning up my newsletter. I'm not spending time doing that. I'm going much faster. And content is just one way. There's so many different tools. We're using chat automations, that are AI-driven chat automations that almost literally replicate like a sales rep for customer service, for prospecting. So many great tools. Go take a look at your content strategy. Go take a look at your marketing strategy and see where you can leverage AI. I'm also leveraging AI for demo videos, like video strategy now has just using AI for voiceover, super cool. So many great things that your team can even utilize for you to go faster. So definitely use AI in the right context. Don't fear it. Use it to grow it. So that was number 4, is leveraging the tools so that we can create more organic content. And the tools are amazing. Like even from we don't need to have a full-time graphic designer anymore. We don't need to have a full-time. There are, I'm not going to say that these things aren't important at different sizes of the company. I have a full-time person at Worth that is doing full content, which includes end-to-end from content to social, but they are able to go faster because they've got, they're using these tools. So I encourage my team to use the tools to go faster. I use them every single day myself. And I think that that's incredible. And going back to, I think I'm going to say, I had said 5, and this is what happens when I start an episode, but there's 6. Like emails are still there, event hacking is new, partnerships is new, organic social is not, leveraging AI is new, newsletter, like emails, owning the email outside of wherever you're reaching your customer. Emails still haven't died. Emails will not die. I wish email died. Email will not die. But we need to own our customer. We need to own the email list. And so you have to invest in getting that right so that wherever you are meeting your customer at, you are quickly able to take them out of the marketing channel and bring them to your channel, which is going to be your organic email list. And you can touch base with them in, a newsletter capacity, sales emails capacity, whatever the email strategy is. I'm not going to go into that for today's episode, but email is not dead. So I think that was number 5. And that was it. But I've got one more because I am doing that this fall, is a media tour. And I do think that there are seasons of it. Media is always going to be there. I've also recommend, people ask me a lot about PR. We have an incredible PR lab. I will link the PR lab into the show notes today. You can download it. I think it's $397 for the PR lab. It has all of my PR strategies on there. You can buy it directly, or you can join the membership, which is literally the exact same price, and then you get you get all of the labs for free. I will link that into the show notes today so you can have direct access to my media templates, my pitch templates, how I'm leveraging media. But I do want to bring it back on the radar. I go through seasons of when I do media. So because I had the launch of the company in March, I'm gearing up for the fall season to go prepare the world for the Worth Score launch. So there are times to really go at it with media. And so people ask all the time about, PR and how much I should, how much dollars and time and resources I should be putting in PR. I think PR should always be an ongoing strategy, but I also want to say that I don't think it's necessary of a resource. It's an expensive resource, and my publicist and everyone's going to hate me for saying this, so don't hate me for saying this, but I don't think it's the right time for everyone to have a media strategy. However, you can have a media strategy around, a product launch, right? Or around an announcement, or around a campaign, or around something that you're doing. Then you want to have a strategic media strategy. So I said I was going to do fall 2024, which fall 2024, I'm in all these different cities because I'm on a podcast tour, right? So I'm on a media tour. So my job right now is to go out and get the name of this brand new company out into the world. And so as a CEO, that's part of where I spend. It's not, it's still a lot of time, like 2 to 3 hours a week of media that I'm doing to externally build the brand, for all kinds of audiences, so that Worth is, it's a new company. We got to get the name out. And so how I'm hacking the media is by doing a podcast tour. Everyone can sign up for a podcast tour, right? There's so many cool podcasts. Your story deserves to be told. And there are so many styles of podcasts that you can be on. So it's something that I'm doing. I've gone into seasons of doing it. This literally over the last 18 months, I haven't been on anyone else's podcast. We bring guests to you guys. I was in that season, right? So I'm like, okay, come on the show. But now I have to go out and to share the company message. And that takes time. That takes a strategy. That takes like clear vision. And so we set out for the fall that I'm doing 30 podcasts for the fall. That's a lot of podcasts. Some of these podcasts have to be in person. We're going to be on some of the most epic shows. I'm going to be on some of my dream shows. And there was a strategy to get on. There's a strategy of the message. There's a strategy of what I'll be sharing. And it's all going to tie back to a singular call to action. I'm not going to talk about, oh, I'm going to talk about CEO school here. Oh, I'm going to talk about Worth here. Oh, I'm going to talk about blank here. Oh, I'm going to talk about momhood here. No, I'm going to talk about what's relevant to their audience, but it's all going to tie back to a singular story with that call to action. So you've got to get strategic about your marketing, right? And this is hopefully inspiring to you, but also action driven. I want you to take action towards it. These are the 6 things, I guess, that I'm doing to amplify my marketing efforts as I'm rebuilding a new brand that I hope you can take if you're in that early startup journey, in the early founders journey, or even if you are, your 10th year in business today, right? Even if you're in your 10th year in business today, marketing strategies are just different. We have to stay relevant. And I love looking at it in these seasons, in the spring, in the summer, in the fall. And that's how I approach it. And so hopefully, you can stay relevant with me. Hopefully these strategies are super, super helpful to you. I'd love to know back to, if you enjoyed today's episode, screenshot this episode. Let me know what was like the biggest aha moment for you. What is something that you're going to be applying in your business today that you're like, I love how you thought about it. And these are all things that you could be doing for free, by the way. I want to make sure that I emphasize that you don't have to have a massive marketing budget to have people talk about your brand, to get into the room with the right customers, to reach your audience where they're at, to grow your organic social. These are all things that can be done on absolutely zero budget. And if you have a budget, right, you should be investing into these strategies. You should be investing in the right strategies. And it's really about being strategic. It's measuring that ROI, and it's about capturing that specific call to action so that we can measure the results of the efforts that we're doing as well. So I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Let me know which one of the 6 strategies that you love that you're going to be applying, even if it's all of them, if it's one of them, I want to know. I want you to also share this episode with your business besties, right? Share this episode. Let's help all of our businesses grow. When women win, we all win. So I can't wait to catch you on another episode of the CEO School podcast next week. And I'm bringing on some really, really exciting guests. So we're going to come back to doing some interviews up ahead. We're going to have more coffee chats and vulnerable conversations. I want to be building alongside of you this time. So let me know what you're loving. Send us all the love. Please, please, please share and leave a review. And if you haven't done so, please do subscribe directly to the show. That is also how every week, every Monday, a new episode goes out. You have all week to listen to it. So you're busy. I'm going to give you all week to listen to it, and we're going to catch up together every single week. I cannot wait. And we're going to make our businesses exponentially scale, but also achieve the life and business that we want. I will see you next time on the CEO School.